Susan is a trusted intimacy wellness expert to millions. So this is going to be a beautiful conversation because we're talking about soul and sex, right?
Yeah.
When you put those things together, magic happens. So introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what you do and who you work with and all that great stuff.
Okay, great. My name is Susan Bratton, and I'm an intimacy expert to millions. I have an expertise in helping transform having sex into making love. My world is the world of passionate lovemaking, heart connected, conscious lovemaking techniques, bedroom communication skills, because you can have all the techniques in the world, but if you don't know how to ask for what you want, you ain't gonna get good sex.
Right.
So there's that. And then I also cover the third leg of the sexual stool to keep it stable, which is sexual health, intimate wellness. Because our genitals are delicate little things, just like our hearts. And sometimes we have trouble with them. So I'm very into sexual biohacking, regenerative sexual treatments for both the male and female body for people across the gender spectrum. And what we're going to talk about today with Amy and how to be unstoppable is from my book, Sexual Soulmates, the 6 Essentials for Connected Sex. And what I've done in the 15 years that I've been helping people transform having sex into making love is to see what things people aren't getting from the sex books they're reading, the media they're consuming, the porn that's destroying their sex life, the shame, the guilt, the repression that happens in our society. How can I fill in those gaps and give people what I like to call the little hinges that swing the big doors wide open to getting your heart's desire? Mm-hmm. And the 6 essentials for connected sex are basically presence, something I call lover space, something I call the sexual soulmate pact, which is the bedroom communication skill that ignites passionate lovemaking, that gets around the concern about hurting your partner's ego or not knowing what you want, but knowing that what you're getting isn't it. And how polarity works, because we women, including myself, I'm just a go-getter. I'm a CEO of a couple companies. I'm a trusted hot sex advisor to millions. I am balls to the wall. I take testosterone. I'm, toe to toe with any guy. However, when I get into the bedroom, I want to surrender to my pleasure with my partner. And so the notion of polarity, the masculine, feminine magnetism that needs to be there no matter where you are on the gender spectrum. That's a very important piece of it. And then something that I like to call erotic playdates. As a matter of fact, I have an erotic playdate scheduled for after this event. And it is a pussy massage playdate. That's what we call it. And erotic playdates are very, very important for keeping monogamy hot and steamy, for co-creating really hot sex with a new partner. Mm-hmm. And what I believe ultimately, just to finish it off, is that sexual soulmates are co-created. You don't find it. You don't need to have instant chemistry with someone. Of course, that's lovely. But really, what you need is to understand how to turn your partner into your sexual soulmate. And that's what I want to talk about today.
I love all that. I love is that couple things. The creating love space.
Yeah, lover space.
Lover space, where she's like looking at him through in the book. Susan uses stories. And she's looking at him prepare, and she's wondering, why do I like to have sex at his house instead of my house, right? And she's looking at him prepare the room for her, for the experience.
Yeah, she gets there early and she peeks in on him getting ready, getting everything ready. So it's perfect for her. When a man knows that for his woman, or when a woman makes up the room to pleasure her man, it really sends that signal that I've got you. Your pleasure is front and foremost in my mind. I want you to relax and surrender to and receive, which is also a big part of polarity, is becoming as good a receiver as you are a giver. And the masculine actually has more trouble with that than the feminine.
So talk about that.
Well, I'd love to just kind of pop you through them in
Oh, sure. However
order
you want to go.
if you're okay
Yeah,
with
I'm
that.
good with that.
Because I think they really build on
Yeah,
them. They build on each other, and so setting each concept is good.
sure.
And really the first one. And how long do you want me to go so I can time my info?
So you are till 1:35.
Okay, great. So I've got about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Easy, easy. And really, Ivy and Julie, I would highly encourage you to participate in this conversation. I don't want this just to be, me just talking. Feel free to jump right in with Amy as well. So I'm welcoming and encouraging your
Mm-hmm.
participation too. Um, so I want to talk about presence because I think that's one of the things that we struggle with as the feminine, and as you probably noticed, I really support people across the gender spectrum,
Sure.
and I think that these days we have evolving gender identities, and we're embracing the masculine and feminine in everyone more and more and more. But one of the things that I like to do is I like to say, the masculine or the man versus the woman tends to have certain behaviors and habits. And it just makes it quicker if I don't have to do gender spectrum blah, 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 the whole time. So I'm just going to say man, woman type of stuff. And I always expect that people know where they are in that spectrum
Yes.
and they can recognize the message that is for them. With presence, what you have with the masculine is, he's ready to go. He's got a heart on. He's ready to be inside you. He's, all the time. He wakes up horny every day and he's very goal oriented. Where the feminine is, he's testosterone driven, and testosterone is the hormone of desire. So he
Mm-hmm.
has a heavy load of that, which we love about our men. I mean, what's better than a man that just can't wait to get his hands on you? I mean, I personally love
I
that.
love that too. I love it too.
So yeah, it's like, can I get a hell's yeah?
Yeah, can we?
um, we want to be wanted, but we
Yeah.
all want to be wanted. We all want to be desired. But the thing that with the female mind being estrogen dominant rather than testosterone dominant, it estrogen is a worry wart molecule. It's like bing, 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 pachinko game mind, always thinking about 27 things. We're the multitasking mindset. And when you add any little bit of stress, not to mention being in a frickin' pandemic and, it's just crazy out in the universe right now, all the social media, et
Mm-hmm.
cetera. We're doing so many things as women. We have a hard time getting out of our mind and into our body in the best of circumstances. And one of the things that I can tell you about making love, being in the state of orgasmic bliss, is that it's actually the brainwave state is theta state, which is the exact same state as meditation. So when you are bringing your mind to calm, it's a really good practice in the bedroom to bring your mind to presence.
Mm-hmm.
And what we find is that our male bodied partners are way ahead of us, already turned on, and they almost can't even imagine how slow we are to catch up to them and to get into our body and to settle and connect. And they also often think, okay, my job is to get her turned on. So I'm going to spin the dials and I'm going to push the button because that's going to get her turned on. And the issue is that we don't like that. That's what they want. They want us to touch their penis immediately. It calms them and it lets them know they're going to see some action and everything's going to be okay. But when they grab our breasts or grab our crotch outside our pants, like that's going to do anything, it's an immediate contraction for us because they've never stroked our hair. They've never kissed our eyelids. They've never held us. They've never given us a foot rub or a neck rub or full body stroking. So what I ask the masculine to do is to come back and get us and put their attention on where we are and how we're doing, what state we're in. Because our arousal begins in relaxation, not in the immediate arousal piece of things. We need, first of all, because our hormone of estrogen is a security worry wart, we need to feel safe, we need to feel secure, and then we need to feel loved and stroked from the outside peripheral into erogenous zones before our genitals and breasts are touched. And so we have to slow our male bodied partners down. I mean, part of the great thing about them is that they're all like, but that's also a double-edged sword. So the number one thing that I teach women is try and get out of your head and into your body. Try and help your partner help you do that. Have him come back and bring you forward into arousal. Have him help you get relaxed so he can take you up the arousal ladder. And the only way that he can do that is to be where you are with you, connected to you in the moment, rather than trying to strategize. This is where often, guys' job is to help us surrender to our pleasure and help us get into that orgasmic, what I like to call get on the orgasmic plane, with lift into it. But if he's just using strategy and he's not with us, he's doing us instead of being with us. We need him to be with us so we can limbically connect, so our heartbeats can synchronize, so our breath can deepen, so we can look into each other's eyes, so we can slow down and drop in to that love bubble. So for women, the presence is getting out of your mind, getting into your body, connecting to your partner. For the partner, it is getting out of strategy and getting into being, because there's nothing better than that lovemaking where one person's pleasure is the other person's pleasure, where you don't know where your pleasure starts and their pleasure ends, where you're just playing off each other in real time, completely surrendered to this co-creative pleasure that you're generating together. And presence is the foundation of having that. So I think that's really, really important. And it is a practice, like a mindfulness meditation. You find yourself out there thinking about something, bring yourself back to the pleasure, bring yourself back, bring your heart back to your partner.
So how can you enroll him into that? How do you enroll men into that? Into that?
You can tell him what I just told you. You can explain how women are different than men. You can explain that you can feel when he's in his mind and not in his body. You can feel when he's left you and you want him back. A lot of people, now I had sexual abuse as a child and I used to dissociate during sex. And my husband healed my sexuality with me. And one of the things that he did was he could tell when I left mentally. And he would call me back to our lovemaking. And it really helped me a lot. And so if 50% of people at a minimum have gone through, and I think it's closer to 75 or 80% have gone through some kind of shame, repression, abuse, what have you. And then of course we women being estrogen dominant, we have body image issues. So we're worried, does my ass look fat? Are my boobs saggy? I might fart, like we have all those concerns and we're worried all the time. And we need to just stop the worrying and get to the presence. So you can enroll your partner in helping you stay in the presence, and it becomes something that gets better and better with practice.
Julie.
Julie.
I have a question. You had mentioned that you have found in your work that it's harder for men to receive than women. And that's fascinating to me because I always find that women are the doers and they take care of everybody. They're the nurturers and all of that. And I find in the work that I do that oftentimes women with cancer are the ones who have a problem receiving. So I'm fascinated to hear more about your comment earlier with regard to men having more trouble receiving than even women.
Yes, they feel like they need to be doing us. And it's very hard for them to relax and receive. And for many women, it takes a long time for us to get confident in our lovemaking skills. I mean, we can lie there and receive, or we can actively give. Cowgirl is a really good sex position. That's a really good example of that, where you might, a lot of women, when they are doing cowgirl, it takes that, and cowgirl is where basically where he's lying down and she's on top of him, straddling him, and this is an intercourse position.
Oh.
And she could be forward facing his feet or forward facing his face. Facing his face is the most common. He can kiss her, play with her breasts, etc. And it really takes women quite a lot of, most women, some women, it's their go-to position. It's the only way they can have an orgasm. But for many women, they're a little shy about it. And when they first start doing it, they're not sure quite how to get themselves off. And then when they learn that they can actually just do whatever they need to do to take their pleasure, with always the exception being very careful not to break his penis. Women have to be careful. That's a delicate, delicate part of a man's body as well. And a lot of guys get broken penises from rough sex. Women just don't know the angles and things. But when she can learn to feel her way through the motions and give herself the pleasure, and he can lie there and receive the pleasure that he gets from her giving herself pleasure, then you're hitting a really nice equilibrium of he's both receiving and she's giving and receiving. And the more you practice the giving and the receiving, and the more you get sexually confident, the more you're able to switch back and forth constantly between the giving and receiving. And it becomes just slippery and loose and easy. It's not, I'm going to lay you down and do you, or I'm going to lie here and you do me. It's that interplay that happens that that makes really good sex.
All right, let's go to number 2. Okay.
So lover space is important. It's very important for highly sensitive people. It's very important for fussy people. It's very important for neatniks, ADDs, all kinds of different people who need a nice environment. And what the lover space is it's simply just setting up the room in which you're making love, most likely the bedroom because the beds are super comfortable, where it's clean. There's not stuff around. The lighting is nice. Maybe there's candles or LED lights, dim orange bulbs that make your body look good and hide all the cellulite. There's good music playing that turns you on. You've got a pitcher of fresh water. You've got some grapes and some strawberries. You've got a stack of soft towels. The avocado oil that you use for lubricant and body massage is warmed in the sink in hot water. All your pleasure toys are clean and ready to go. Whatever you've got a waterproof mattress cover over the mattress and a sheet on top of that and plenty of pillows to prop yourself up. You've got a mirrored bedroom closet. Whatever it is that's right for you, a lock on your bedroom door. Whatever is right for you. A lot of times people depict in the movies, the couple gets turned on and he rips off her shirt and he throws her down on the bed and he just goes at her. Well, we women really have a hard time settling into our body if there's dirty underwear on the floor or it's too cold. I like my temperature 76 to 78 degrees. Other women like it 88 degrees. They want it really warm. What do you need? What does your environment need so that you can completely surrender to your pleasure together and you have everything set up and ready to go? And the more that you consider your lovemaking a ritual of creating a lover space for surrendering to pleasure, the better that pleasure can emerge from the two of you. So that's a very important piece.
Yeah, I like that. I'm sorry. I like that also because it creates an importance for this sexual life together. It creates an important, like you're
honor.
Talking. You're honoring it. Yes, you're creating a space of honor for that part of your life together, which I really like. I really like.
Yeah, yeah. You're putting intention and attention on your lovemaking. So that's very important. The next in the 6 essentials of connected sex is the sexual soulmate pact. And I'm going to return to that and save it for the end because that's the free gift that I have. So I've taken an excerpt from the sexual soulmate book and taken the one piece out, which I think is literally the most important piece. And that's the one about how to ask for what you want, even if you don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So we're going to circle back to that, and I'm going to move on to polarity, which is the masculine, feminine, the magnetism of, the attraction of opposites is basically what that is. And what's nice about polarity is that the more, we talked early in the beginning of this episode about this segment about, being strong women and wanting to surrender in the bedroom and not have to run the bedroom game. It's fun to run the bedroom game sometimes, but there are other times when you don't want that at all. And you want to be able to trust that your partner can take over the helm of the ship and he can sail that ship across the lake of love, and he's got the rudder and he's taking care of it, and you can float along on the pleasure. And that's a thing that men particularly do love to do. They're very good and want to take charge. And as long as you're comfortable surrendering your nervous system to them, and you feel that they know what to do to give you the stimulation that you need to achieve that orgasmic pleasure together, then you have a really nice opportunity. But if you have to micromanage them and you have to tell them what you want all the time or direct them, that's really painful for both of you. So it's very good that men, or the person who is leading, and it doesn't need to be the masculine who is always leading, but let's just say the leader, it's very good if they know how to do things that allow the receiver to stay in their sensual mind. For example, not what do you want to do, but let me run you a menu of ideas. Would you like to go in the hot tub first and take a shower, and then I'll give you a massage? Would you like to get a glass of wine and lie on the couch and I'll give you a foot rub? Would you like to just go into the bedroom right now and lie down and let me hold you? And you're like, yeah, I want to, yes, okay, I want to do all those things. Can we just do it all? But so you don't have to think about what you want. You can get a menu run of possible options. And when your partner is good at kind of assessing where you are and they come to you with offers, you can pick and choose from among them. Multiple choice is a very nice thing. Or when you're making love and he says, do you want me to stroke you harder or softer here? I don't know. Okay, harder? No, that's not it. Softer? No, that's not it. Maybe it's something else. Okay, let me try these. How do you like it when I stroke you here versus here? How does it feel? And so 2-option leading, again, gives the giver, the person's taking you on the journey, the opportunity to lead you without you having to think too much. And you get to just feel the pleasure and stay in the pleasure. Other things that are really sexy in polarity are picking you up and moving your body around. If your partner picks you up and lays you on the bed and then takes your clothes off, or takes your clothes off and picks you up and lays you on the bed, there's something about when you move her body, you move her emotion. When you're manipulating her, she really likes that. That's a really a way for the masculine to kind of step into his masculinity more with you. It instantly disarms you and gets you out of the needing to be directed. So I think those are some examples of polarity that help, and there are many more in the book. I want to move to embodiment. Because I've talked a lot about getting out of the mind and coming into sensation. I've mentioned earlier, connecting your hearts, looking in each other's eyes, holding each other and calming, co-regulating your nervous systems and slowing down together so that your relaxation allows your body's fluids to flow, so that you maybe have a little eye watering and you have some things that come up and you can get them off your chest. And then as you're slowed down and you're petted by your partner and loved and kissed and adored and held tight, you can allow yourself to just calm. Your saliva will start to run, your vagina will begin to lubricate. It's very similar to breastfeeding. If you've ever done breastfeeding, where you get the baby and your milk's not quite come down yet, and then all of a sudden you have that baby in your arms and the milk flows from your breasts. That's that relaxation and the letting down. And when you can allow the time in your relationship to connect hearts, breath, eyes, limbic systems, and let the fluids begin to flow, that really is what is at the heart of embodied sex. It's staying in your body, staying connected to sensation, and staying connected to self and other in a worry-free way.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, erotic playdates. Erotic playdates are one of the absolute best things that a couple can do, because it takes us women most of the time longer to get turned on than our male-bodied partners. What we really need are some things that remove the performance pressure to have intercourse. And yoni massages, genital massages, massaging a woman's body and her vulva without immediately touching her clitoris or putting your fingers inside her. And even giving her massages that do not need to result in going any further, that she could be like, it didn't work this time. I don't think I want to have sex. Can I just roll over and snuggle you and go to sleep? Yes, baby, of course you can. Because the net effect of erotic playdates is that you actually end up making more love when you remove the pressure of having intercourse. And when you are able to play and be joyful and pleasure each other without that being the end game. And erotic playdates allow couples to learn things together. I always say that couples that play together stay together, especially in the bedroom. And when you're learning new orgasm techniques, we want to create an expanded orgasm practice. We want to try orgasmic meditation. We want to do G-spot healing. We want to try female ejaculation. We want to try male multiple orgasm. We want to try prostate orgasms. We want to try oral pleasuring orgasms. We want to learn how to do 69. We want to try a new sex position. We want to try a toy during lovemaking. We want to do some role play. We want to do a lingerie fashion show. We're going to have sex outside. We're going to make love in the back of the SUV while the kids at soccer practice. Whatever it is, and I've got an endless supply of erotic playdate ideas. I mean, so many that when you make a date and you schedule sex, but it's not intercourse, it's learning something new. When you begin as beginners and you have a beginner's mind together, it gets you that new relationship energy. It feels like you're a teenager having sex again, and it makes it really exciting. And so that's what erotic playdates are. When you schedule them, you look forward to them, you sexy text about them, and then you get there and the lover space is set up and you're going to try something new, like, let's find your G-spot and see what happens. Or I got this new G-spot toy and I want to try it on you, and you give me feedback. These kinds of things are what keep couples having really exciting sex that gets on what I like to call the upward pleasure spiral, where sex gets better and better and better your whole life long, instead of swirling down the toilet like all your friends are.